So the internet is back at it again. People are now power scaling Mario versus Sonic and trying to determine who would win in a fight. Here's the viral tweet that started it all from Death Battles. They said that Mario is stronger and more durable than Sonic. He is smarter and has more experience. I don't know about that. Abilities can outlast Supersonic's time limit. Supersonic and Superstar are similar in terms of power. His drawback is that he's slower. Sonic is faster. He's better at combat, which should probably end the battle right there. And Supersonic and Superstar are similar in terms of power, and Sonic is apparently weaker. That's one thing that maybe we could say in terms of raw strength. But which character between Mario and Sonic truly is stronger? I'm going to do my own power scaling attempt at this, and we're going to see which character I think is more powerful. Without a doubt in my mind, in the mainline Sonic games, Sonic has definitely fought much stronger villains, basically gods. Perfect Chaos, for example. The Metal Overlord, which basically copies the abilities of 12 different Sonic characters in one. Solaris, who's an interdimensional being that eats dimensions for lunch. Sonic has also fought in the Time Eater, which is again one of those like interdimensional time god kind of things. Recently, Sonic has even fought the End, which is basically death reincarnated. I mean, Sonic has definitely fought much tougher villains, at least when we talk about the mainline Sonic games. These just seem to be enemies that are way stronger than anything Mario's ever faced. When it comes to enemies that Mario has faced, I mean, I would say the strongest ones are probably fought by Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi, which are basically the RPG games. And if you think about it, I'm pretty sure Paper Mario is also a separate entity from the actual Mario, so maybe he's stronger than Sonic, but probably not the baseline Mario. There's even times when Mario struggles to fight the baseline Bowser. He usually loses to Bowser in the beginning of just about every single Mario game, so the idea that Sonic would lose in a fight to someone like Bowser just doesn't sit right with me. But maybe Mario has fought some pretty tough villains. I mean, he has fought that like giant dragon before at the end of Mario Odyssey. Like, let's be real. I mean, this guy seems a lot stronger than like the baseline Bowser. The fact that Mario's stomps are able to actually do that much damage to him does maybe mean that his stomps do pack some weight. Although, let's not forget that Sonic has also fought dragons himself, albeit he is using a sword here, but he's still able to defeat a dragon nonetheless. Although that dragon that Mario fought did look a little bit more impressive. So there are times when in their base forms, they do fight similar levels of enemies. Although it's pretty rare for Mario, I will say. Take away all of the Mario spin-offs where he does fight some pretty powerful enemies and just stack up the mainline games together. I feel like the eye test very visibly demonstrates that Sonic definitely fights tougher enemies. So in terms of what we've seen from both of these characters, it seems like Sonic's stronger, right? Like just going off of what we see, going off of the eye test, like look at some of the abilities that Sonic has in Sonic Frontiers. It also seems like over the years, Sonic has gotten stronger as well. As you can see, in Sonic Generations, he's able to take out Perfect Chaos without even going supersonic because he can run on the water, which is again an ability that Mario doesn't have. And even without his super form, he can still defeat a god of water just in his base form. I don't really know how many gods Mario has been able to take on in his base form in a mainline game with his mainline moveset and not a turn-based RPG. I feel like if they're not using their canon abilities and they're the same speed and stuff like that, you know, maybe Mario's probably a little bit stronger. This is what some people think that a fight between them would go like, but I think if you take into account the actual canon speed of Sonic the Hedgehog, someone that can move at the speed of light, this is to me just based off of the eye test what a fight between Mario and Sonic would look like. Because he's so fast, it really would be difficult for Mario to actually be able to catch him. And I just feel like with all the enemies that Sonic has seen before in the past, I feel like there's no way that Mario would actually be able to defeat him. But is it that simple? I mean, listen, we're looking at fan animations here, and I'm kind of going off of my own personal bias. I do think it maybe could be a little bit closer for the people that are on Team Mario. The idea of who could win this fight also could be determined by the environment that they both fight in. If you look at Super Mario, his equivalent to Super Sonic is the Power Star. So when Mario has the Power Star, he is invincible, but you have to keep in mind that the Power Star also doesn't last that long. The Power Star only lasts 10 seconds, so if the fight goes longer than 10 seconds, Mario's going to be in a lot of trouble. In order for Sonic to go Supersonic, which I guess would be his equivalent, he's going to need at least 50 rings. I would say rings drain at a rate at about 1 or 2 per second, so in order for Sonic to go super, he's going to need at least 50 rings, which would assume that Sonic can go at least 50 seconds before he runs out of rings. Rings are also generally much more abundant in the Sonic universe, so it depends on where they're fighting as well, but if Sonic has 50 rings, he's going to outlast Mario unless a bunch more Power Stars fall out of the sky or something like that, which rarely happens in the Mario franchise. It would be a stalemate until whoever runs out of their power-up. 10 seconds versus 50 seconds, I'm still taking Supersonic. In addition to that, Supersonic can also fly, and he's also invincible as well, so it would be that stalemate, but depending on where the environment is, like if they're fighting in space or something like that, Supersonic would win. Supersonic is also invincible to lava as well, so even when you look at a villain like Dark Gaia, even Super Mario with the Power Star would not be able to defeat this enemy because the lava would, 1, kill him, and 2, he would not be able to survive long enough with the Power Star even if he was invincible to the lava. While Mario does get invincibility from the Power Star, it feels feels like that's kind of all it does. It doesn't really actually give him any more additional powers. It makes him go a little bit faster and stuff like that. But canonically, I feel like it's pretty obvious that Supersonic definitely gets much larger of a power-up from the Supersonic transformation. Maybe if you're comparing like the 16-bit Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 Supersonic, then maybe it's a little bit more similar. But I do think in general, like just based off of the eye test, Supersonic is probably stronger. However, there is one form of Mario that is extremely powerful, and it is White Tanuki Mario. This power-up, in a way, kind of nullifies a lot of the arguments against the Power Star. When you go White Tanuki Mario, he's actually invincible, and also he never runs out of his invincibility. I believe canonically, it just goes on forever. It's pretty crazy because Mario simply dressing in a white raccoon suit may have ended up creating the most powerful being the universe has ever seen, because he can run right through enemies and his invincibility never runs out. However, there is still a time limit in the game. So is it true that he's invincible? I mean, he lasts a lot longer than the Power Star version of Mario, which was previously like his strongest form. Does he really last forever? And he also can fly when he's in the Tanuki suit as well. Maybe White Tanuki Mario could defeat Perfect Dark Gaia, but there still is the element of him needing to pick up speed. It's also important to remember that he will still die to lava, and Supersonic can actually stand on lava. So there's still that working against him. Although I do feel like it's important to point out also for Tanuki Mario, in order for this power-up to appear, Mario will have to die 5 times. So that would assume that if Sonic is fighting Mario, he dies once. You know what I mean? Or he died 5 times in general. If he dies, how can he fight? So there's a question around the fact whether or not this power-up is even canon to the Mario series, assuming that it requires him to die. So that's up for you guys to decide. However, obviously, if he has the power-up, that would be his best chance at being able to defeat Supersonic. Realistically, though, it's really hard to make an argument that White Tanuki or White Raccoon Mario with the invincibility leaf would actually lose to Supersonic, because if he can last forever, the only way to kill him is if the time limit runs out or if he steps in lava. Other than that, this is definitely his best shot of actually beating him. Another element that Mario has working for him as well, and I think would work in his favor in a fight against Sonic, actually would be Cappy. Now, assuming that he still has access to Cappy and he still has those abilities, that remains to be seen. Cappy allows Mario to transform into basically anything that he wants to. So if he was able to actually catch Sonic with Cappy, which I think would be an issue in of itself, I don't know if he'd be able to do that. He would actually have a good shot at beating him because he could just take control of Sonic and make him jump off a cliff or something like that. Mario has also shown several times that he has the ability to breathe underwater, although in some games he can't, some games he can. It's kind of inconsistent as to whether or not he can, but regardless, Sonic's biggest weakness is water. So let's say somehow this fight ends up going underwater, Sonic would definitely have trouble if they were fighting down there, because Mario has much greater survivability underwater, even when they both can't breathe. So yeah, I think that Mario definitely has an outside shot with some of those power-ups, and honestly, there's a good argument that he could win with some of those power-ups, but in their base form, I do believe that Sonic would have a tough time losing to Mario. He's much more versatile in combat, he's faster, some debate that he could be stronger. Like if you look in Sonic Frontiers, he has a lot more moves that he's able to use. If you're fighting someone that's a million times faster than you, just think about this. Think about someone that could just run right behind you. The second you blink, someone's already behind you because they're so fast, they can just run right around you. They could side loop you. Like Sonic with super speed, I just think is a super unfair advantage over anything Mario brings to the table, when his baseline move is basically just jumping and stomping on people. I don't really see a way that he would be able to catch Sonic if he moves so fast. I don't see a way for slow little Mario to be able to jump on top of Sonic, who's moving at the speed of light. To me, I know this is not maybe the best explanation, but I just feel like it comes down to the eye test. Like, look at the combat in this boss battle right here. Look how slow Mario's moving. I know that it's like the in-game versions of the characters, but I mean, seriously, looking at this style of combat versus this, when I look at that, my gut feeling just tells me that Sonic would win. Also, White Tanuki Mario can die to crushing deaths, and if you saw Supersonic snap his fingers, he was able to crush the end right there, so he would probably crush him. But let's be realistic here. I mean, whoever wins this battle would be up to whoever's writing the story, okay? It's not that deep. I'm not like a Mario hater, though. Like, I got a Mario hoodie on right now. You guys see it right here. I also have a Mario channel. Like, I'm a huge Mario fan, and there's definitely an idea that the White Tanuki Mario might actually solo, although, like I said, the lava might be a problem. But yeah, it's been this huge debate on Twitter. Like, a lot of people have been talking about it, 600,000 views. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments.